Let's not move. Mind you, brand new car, fresh off the lot. This is my calling. No shade, because there's always something going on. Hey y'all, it's Perry Liz and I'm back again with another video. If you are new here, like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on Instagram at It's Just Perry Liz. I am back and I have a story time. Told a story time in about 3 years. Don't know why. So I'm back and I'm better. I'm gonna mention a guy that I mentioned 3 years ago. The story time is actually still up. I watched it a couple days ago and I was like, I never told another story that had transpired. So I wanted to share that with y'all. A little backstory. We were in a relationship for probably about a year. He did live with me at the time. At this time, my mom wanted to venture off out of Florida. She stopped working for the job she was working for. And this was during the ending of my high school years. So we ended up moving out of Florida to Georgia with pretty much like no plan, kind of like starting over. So we were working, like trying to find a job. I was doing like Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all those things. And I am going to mention, before we left Florida, I ended up getting a new car. It was a 2020 Toyota Corolla, and 2020 or 2021. But 2 days after I got off the lot, I was involved in a 5-car accident. I was the last car to get hit. The lady that hit my car no longer could see where she was going, just kind of like where she landed, which was in my driver door. But she ended up hitting my car. She couldn't see at that point. All her airbags were out, but my airbags were still intact. My door was just, it was like a T-bone, but not like too forcefully, like, it like just hit the car. All this to say, my door was like taped up and like, it was a rope inside and I couldn't get in from the driver door. I had to get in from the passenger door. Very ghetto. Already lived it. It's a lot. But anyways, I'm giving y'all this backstory for a reason. So my door was messed up. It was like beeping because couldn't sense that the door was closed. So it was just a lot during that time. And some parts of the story is triggering a little bit, so I might like take a pause, which I'm gonna edit out anyways. But yeah, it's just I have to remember, like, when you go through traumatic experiences, you don't always remember what happened, not verbatim, or like it just might be foggy or pieces missing. So like some parts of the story I remember when I filmed this a couple minutes ago, and then the other day I had to call my mom to ask her about a certain situation that happened so I could remember what happened. So anyways, so yeah, my car was messed up. Me and him were in a relationship. We moved out of Florida and we're venture off to Georgia. So at this point, we were in Georgia in a different hotel, whatever the case may be. And we ended up coming back to Tampa, or going back to Tampa for my graduation. So we all went. It was my mom, my brother, my sister, and then him, Cameron. That's what I named him. So we come back. We went to my graduation. Very depressing. Whatever. I'm here now. When graduation happened, we ended up getting into an argument on one of the days that we were there, and he was like, he'll go back to his mom's house, and I was like, well, you can stay. I cared because it became an attachment, but I didn't care in the sense like I was tired of being in a toxic relationship because I already seen that growing up, and that's just something that I never wanted. I feel like he stayed longer than he should have because my mom didn't want him to just be like in the streets because of whatever situation that happened for him to even have to stay with us in the first place. So she was just trying to help him, like, she's just a mom. So I don't blame her for that, but I was already done with the shit with the last couple incidents that happened. So anyways, on topic but off topic, he ended up getting left behind when we came to my graduation. So I was like, are you sure? Da da da. And I was just like, I'm good. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever. So fast forward a little bit, one of my uncles ended up going to jail. something happened and he wanted my mom and us to like keep his car good while he was gone. So I don't know how me and Cameron became back into communications, or we were just like seeing what was going on with each other. It was cool enough for him to do us a favor. So he was talking about how he wanted to be back together, whatever. I wasn't really like for it. Ended up driving the car up to Georgia for us. So he ended up like coming back with us or whatever. So in between this time, I don't want to say that it was a long span of time, probably like no more than 2 weeks span. He was with us, but he would be like sleeping in the car or like whatever. It's just so crazy. Like what? But we wasn't together, so I was like, I'm cool, whatever. So he was just there for a little bit of time. And then on one of the days I went to go probably do like Instacart or something like that. And me and him still wasn't talking, but he wanted to talk or whatever. So I paused whatever I was doing and we ended up meeting at a Waffle House. And he was still driving my uncle's car at the time. So my uncle had drove my uncle's car and I was driving my car around. And he was talking about getting back together and stuff like that. And I was really like, no, like I'm good or whatever. So I ended up still having a promise ring that he gave me. And he ended up saying like he wanted it back. But as I'm saying, like, if you want this, you have to get out the car first. Because he had ended up getting in the car and I felt him like getting aggressive and stuff like that. So I was just like, before I give you anything, I just want you to like be out the car. I can lock my door and roll down the window or whatever the case may be. But like, I just did not want to be um, around him. Like, I was cool of him. And you're about to start, like, you're about to trigger me. So we was like going back and forth about that or whatever. And he ended up, I need to stop talking with my hands. He ended up getting out of the car, but he like took my car key. Like I gave him what he wanted, but he still tried to like take my car key. So we was like, I was like, can I get my key back? Da da da. So somehow, some way, I end up getting my car key, and I end up cranking up my car and leaving before he got in my uncle's car and ended up trying to follow me. So as he's following me, I'm trying to like cut corners to try to like, but I don't know where I'm at. Like I'm not from here. I just been driving around here for like a week or two, so I kind of like know some things that are familiar, but not like no back roads or anything like that. So I'm trying to get away from him, escape from the man. He like tailing my car, so I'm literally here. Mind you, my uncle had a Dodge Charger at the time, so mind you, I'm driving. I'm in my Toyota Corolla, and he has his Dodge Charger, and he is zooming, baby. So he is literally on my tail, and I'm like, this boy is crazy. Like this does not make any sense. Like telling me to a point, like if I would have pressed the brake, we would have gotten a car accident. Like imagine, like that shit is doesn't make sense. But anyways, where we're at this part where we're at, there's a Dollar General, and then like the parking spots are right here, and then it's like a little turn, and then it's like a plaza where like it looks like doctors' offices. So you can say like it was probably the weekend when this happened because there were no cars parked there, like it was closed. So I ended up like parking right there, and he kept saying, I need to get something out the trunk. I need to get something out the trunk. I couldn't even tell y'all if he was like calling me while I was in the car or anything like that. Like that part is just like a blur. I don't remember that. But he kept saying, I need to get something out your trunk. Mind y'all, when we were in Tampa and he was like he's gonna leave, he was getting his clothes out and stuff like that. He was saying he doesn't want anything that I bought him, so he left. Mind you, the other stuff done got ripped up, thrown in the lake. Neither here or there. Well, he was like he don't want anything that I bought, so it was in my car still. I'm gonna throw it away. I wasn't thinking about that. I just whatever. So he was like he want my stuff. He want his stuff out my trunk. He want his stuff out my trunk. So he ended up, mind y'all, like I said, I had rope and then I had like tape on my door to try to keep it as close as possible. So like I can fly out the car while I'm driving. But he ends up ripping off the tape of my car, and I'm just like, bro, there's no way. So I end up like, he ended up popping the trunk and getting the clothes that he said he didn't want. Mind y'all, it's like a Nike Tech sweatsuit that I had bought him for his birthday or something. I don't know. But yeah, he ended up taking out my truck. And I'm like, really, bro? Like, you did all this just to get something that you said you didn't want in the first place? Like, what's. T. He does that, and I'm just like, that's stupid. We just going back and forth, whatever, exchanging words. And I drive to that Dollar General, and that's like right by it. I'm going to the Dollar General. He's still following me. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, when is enough gonna be enough? So he ends up following me to the Dollar General, and I'm getting out the car, and this boy is just, mind y'all, when I'm driving, I have to like hold the door closed so it don't fly open, but it's literally like right next to it. I just had to go around to the parking spots. So he like pushing me on the car, saying whatever he's saying, and this lady walk out the store. I was like, "Can you please call the police?" And she was like, "Would you like me to get a store associate?" Be for real. If somebody say help them, why is getting somebody else going to help any faster? I think her anyways, because somebody ended up calling the police, and I remember I was walking in the store. He had let me go, and I had said this to the lady, so I ended up walking in the store, going to go get the tape for my door. It was like white duct tape. The car was white. The duct tape was white. I was trying to, make it match as best as possible. I don't know. So I end up getting the tape or whatever. I end up buying it, and I told him. I think before that, I was like, "She called the police. You need to leave, or you better go about your business or whatever." So I come back outside. Mind you, my door is open now. So I had like Epsom salt in my passenger seat, and this dude pours Epsom salt in my car. I'm like, for what? Like, what are you getting out of this? You're not getting anything out of this. So by the time, I think I left too before the police arrived, or the police arrived, and I was like, he's gone. I really cannot remember. Like, I think we both had left before the police officers had even got there. But he definitely left before I even came out the store. I mean, mind y'all, this is all happening in the daytime. It's not even like this is happening at night. Nobody can see. Like, this is happening in broad daylight. Mind you, broad daylight. So I end up like going and pulling up to like a car wash or something like that so I can get the Epsom salt on my seats. And I call my mom and tell her what happened, and she was like she's gonna call him to talk to him or whatever like that. So um we end up like being cordial for like a little while longer. It wasn't that much longer. I don't want to even say like a month had went past. I don't even think 2 weeks went past, if we're being honest. Again, a lot of it is a blur because there's so much that happened during this time in my life. Like, I cannot remember verbatim. He ended up leaving us to go back home again. So when we had left that area, we were in Noonan, Georgia at the time. And then when we ventured off again, we went into like Sandy Springs, which is like almost like in Atlanta. He ended up having a cousin that went to Valdosta State, and the cousin came to get Cameron from the hotel that we had went to. So I don't know if it was like this was like a planned thing, like probably like a couple of days in advance, where he knew his cousin was going back home. It was like we don't need to be together, or he had an offer from somewhere, so he was good to like go on his journey and do his own thing. So we ended up waiting for the cousin, or like he ended up waiting up for him or whatever, and then got all his stuff and got in the car with his cousin, and he left and went back to Tampa. And I can't tell y'all what happened after this specific part, but I know that there down the line we ended up talking, and he ended up apologizing about the situations that we had been through and stuff like that. And yeah, there's maybe one or two more stories that I can talk about. I got to bring back some memory for these, but very traumatic time in my life. There's a lot more things that happen with just moving and being homeless and all the things like that, and to getting an apartment and moving to college, going to school, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So if y'all want more story times, let me know. I know I talk a lot with my hands. I have to work on that, and I was touching my hair a lot. But just let me know what y'all think. And I will see y'all in the next one.